Chokies. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? So today we're gonna be doing a tutorial, which I don't think I've ever done before. So we're gonna hope this goes well and I don't fumble over my words. I don't have a script, so if I fumble, I fumble. But yeah, so today we're going to do a tutorial on the Icecube Rig. It is a Blender used Minecraft rig to make 3D thumbnail models. Thumbnail to this video will be a model that I won't make all of it, but I'll attempt and start making it maybe. I don't actually know. And also the most recent episode of Hilltops, episode 7, was rigged by me with this rig. Also episode 6 was also rigged by me with this rig. The most recent community post of a character that is a little sneak peek to something that we're doing with Celestial Studios. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit more in-depth tutorial of this rig. It's called Icecube. I don't know who the creators. I have everything will be in the description. The link to it, Blender link, the tutorial that I found to start using this. There's only like one that I could find that I was actually good, and all the other tutorials, there's not really one made by the creator of this rig. There kind of is, but they're more like showcases, and they don't go really in depth, and there's no like person like kind of talking you through it. So I'm gonna see if I can talk you through it the best I can, and we'll see how this goes. So yeah, let's get started. Thing you want to do is open any type of browser. I use Opera GX with my amazing art by my amazing friend named Deborah. I will put her in the description. I love this art so much. So how I found this rig was I actually literally was looking up Minecraft Blender rigs. That's how I found it. So let's get started. How I would find it is just looking up Icecube Rig. So I would find it. It also will be in the description, just a quick link. So as you can see, there's like Icecube Rig updated. There's a bunch of other stuff and whatnot. There's some others, like this is what it would look like generally. These must have been all made with it. I'm not gonna go super in depth because honestly, I don't know a lot of like everything about this. So this is a big part. An open source Minecraft rig for Blender 4.2 plus. Before I download this rig, I had 4.1 and it was not working and I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized it needs to be on 4.2 or above. So I have 4.4 opened. I think that's one of the most recent versions of Blender right now. So make sure you have your Blender updated to above 4.2. I would don't even go subtle with just 4.2. I'd go 4.4 because that's what I use and it works great. I'd go above that if possible. I haven't updated my thing yet. Then you just want to go to download. This is the remake. I have not used this. I'm pretty sure I hit this download button. It should roughly work the same. I think it's got the same controls, probably just a bit better rigging. This is another thing I will kind of go over just slightly. They have an asset library, which I absolutely fell in love with. It's basically every single Minecraft item in the game, I think updated to 1.20.1 or 1.20 of every single item. So yeah, these are just the tools. Here's some trailers. So I think these are remake. I think it's how to use them. Not saying they are bad, they're amazing. But at the same time, I feel like a bit of in-depth would be better. So download it. I'm gonna attempt my best to show you how to put in this rig. This might go poorly, by the way, so be cautious. If you need to look up how to import Blender files, I would look a video up as well. Don't completely base this off of me. I'm so sorry. So to install the rig into Blender, you are going to want to have Blender. Again, mine is updated to 4.4.1. That is what I have it updated to. If there's another one, I don't know about it. To import said rig into said Blender is going to edit, preferences. You have to go on to get extensions and go up to this arrow. At least this is the way I found to do it. Go up to this arrow and hit install from disk. And then you're going to find your Blender. So mine is right here. It should be a zip file. Just click it, install from disk. Same with the asset file. Click it, install from disk. Go to add on the little like top bar. It should be next to select and away from object. Click add. Go all the way to the bottom. It will say Icecube with little Icecube on it. Go hover over it and go over to your right. And personally, if you don't have all these options, I might have mine bugged. I don't know. Default or whatever option you have. Left click, default. And then it'll load it. And then over here, don't freak out. I know this looks confusing already. There's gonna be this. Don't touch it. Don't bother with it unless you know how to use Blender that way. I don't, so we're not gonna bother with it. And then there's like, it's a lot. We're not gonna touch it though. Now we have our little dude. You're like, wait, well, there's no skin. And there's like a bunch of glitching. So we're gonna go back up to our little gray bar and we're gonna go all the way to the right this time, and there's gonna be 4 little circles. One's gonna be like gridded, one's gonna be full that we're selected on, one's gonna be like half filled in, the other one's gonna be like shiny in a way. We're gonna go to the 3rd bubble. If you hover over it, it is called viewpoint shading. We're gonna left click this and it might take a second depending. Mine took a little bit, but sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Just depends. Boom. Now we have our little skin guy. But you're like, well, that's not my skin. I want my skin. We'll get there, I promise. So you can see we have all this other stuff going on. So we have a lot of little things and other things. Don't worry. we're gonna go through all of it. I personally don't use the hat layer extruded. Holding left click on the open space of Blender will highlight or like select stuff, kind of like selecting a bunch of words. So yeah, so it's kind of like a Google Doc, if you will. So go anywhere and just go like this. Try not to see if it's like this, like if you have, see how all this is selected now, this will delete everything. Try not to do that. We're gonna try to just select up to the cube. And yes, it looks, nothing else is orange, so we're good. That means we only selected up to the cube. That's what we wanted. We're gonna right click on the head block. I like to click on the item to make sure I delete the proper thing. Right click on the head block, scroll all the way down and hit delete. Now that's gone. Perfect. One more thing off our list. So now we're here and you're like, whoa, that thing looks creepy. And there's a lot of buttons. So as you can see, he has 3D eyes, or like, kind of like posable eyes and posable eyebrows. Firstly, this thing right here, this is a mouth. These buttons are here to distribute or work with the eyeballs, to move the eyeballs. This is also to kind of like work with the facing, rigging and stuff, more eyeballs and more eyebrows and stuff. You can change all of this, and we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna say this now, and I'll probably repeat it a couple times. If you want to work with this, I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, there's like this bone. They're called bones. Bone, right? And it looks like it's okay. That looks like that's probably gonna move the shoulder bone of the Minecraft skin. Just how this would move your hand. This would move like your elbow bone, if you would, right? This would move your chest bones, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so to make sure we're able to actually move the model, when the model is unselected, if you go to object mode, it's going to give you object, edit, sculpture, and all these other things. You're like, okay, which one do I click? None of them. If you click on the head and there's this little faint box, okay, the model's selected. Nope. You need to I personally clicked whatever this thing is. I don't know exactly what it does, but I usually click this because it's a big rig area that will just, anywhere you click will usually let you click into it. You want to make sure you click the whole little dude, right? The whole guy. Make sure he's all selected, and then you're going to go back to object mode, and you're going to go to pose mode. This will open a whole new GUI for you. Okay, now that we have our model selected into pose mode, we can move it around. So obviously, if I select the shoulder bone, we can disconnect the arm. Now he's missing his arm. We can move it up and down and up and down, and depending on what tool you pick from over here, the rotate tool will do exactly what you think it will do. It will rotate it. Personally, you can rotate it like manually, like with this little arrow. That's just, you just kind of click in this circle and it will kind of give you access. Same thing with the move tool. If you kind of touch in the circle, it'll just let you kind of move it freely instead of being on this like XYZ grid, which is fine if you want to be able to do that. But just know it's a bit more tricky to make it look right and fix it. But yeah, I would personally use the lines and stuff, but it's completely up to you how you want to do it. So we're gonna now so this applies to every bone in the entire thing. So when in pose mode, you can move any part of the body more or less. So you can kind of tell where you can and cannot move things. So these little lines will tell you. So we have the shoulder bone, shoulder number 2, elbow, and like hand. Oof, gets funky. This is the knee bone. So this kind of twists left and right. It doesn't bend. You're like, oh well, I want to bend my knee. Oops. Which you're more than welcome to. Grab this kind of one, the foot bone, I guess. I don't know. And this will allow you to bend it. And what I like is it kind of makes it work with it. You can stretch it out. You can kind of do whatever. But I like how it bends it. It makes it look very natural. Also, you can do a lot with the head. The head also has a lot of rigging as well. So this kind of just useful. I would, with the head, unless you're like disconnecting it, or like wanting to move it like left and right, you kind of want to consistently use this tool, the rotate tool, with most of the rigging. So this will tilt it and whoop, 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 whoop. And this will nod it and nod. And then this one will turn it left and right. So this kind of, from what I learned, it's supposed to be like a breathing thing. You're supposed to make it look like your character is breathing. This is your hip stuff. So this kind of moves your, like, if you will, like your center of gravity kind of thing. This kind of, you can hit yourself. Wah, 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 wah. It's kind of fun. I guess if you want them like getting like a really interesting like dance move pose, I don't know. Get to the fun part of actually adding your skin into the rig. You're gonna still be in pose mode. Stay in pose mode basically the entire time, unless you're adding external like files, which we'll go over. But basically 100% of the time, you are in pose mode. You will never be out of pose mode because this thing won't work without being in pose mode. So you're gonna go in here, and this is where you're gonna be able to do a lot more stuff. So there's the workflow, which there's just a bunch of like arm settings, leg settings. You don't really have to. I wouldn't recommend touching this stuff. It doesn't like, as you can tell, it's not doing much. Again, don't touch it. Kind of just leave it as it is. It's meant for other things. If you don't want a face rig with your skin, boom, gone. So yeah, if I will say this, if you do want to use the face rig, I would recommend deleting your skin's eyes. I never really use a face rig as most of my skin's eyes are HD'd, so I just use those. But if you do want to use this I guess version of HDing, you might want to delete your eyes off your skin, which is just going into like an editor and just deleting them. There's also, you can turn on the cartoon mouth, which makes the mouth do a bit different things. Again, we're gonna go over all that. Blink position, we'll go over all this later when we get more into like the rigging of the face and stuff. Bone collection, I would just leave it as it is. Don't really mess with any of this stuff. So now this is where you can decide what skin type you have. So Steve, Alex are thin. I think this is for the newer version of Minecraft, for the the newer like 1.20, I think it is. So thin, Steve and Alex, and you're seeing like, oh, there's a bug. If you have a Alex skin and you put it on, it won't show this. If you have a Steve skin, if you have it in a Steve skin, it will just be blank or like clear, just kind of how like when you're making the skin, it's like blank, so the pixels don't render. Same thing. So we're gonna go back to style, and this is where you're gonna have a lot more fun. So there's the taper, which is just your body taper and whatnot to make you want to be buff or want to be really skinny. This is the lower one. You just kind of messing around the hips. Ooh, snatched. This is all the same stuff with the legs and this whatnot. So, then we have cosmetics, which you can add female anatomy to yourself with different angles. You can have the mouth bevel, which does and the eye bevel as well. They'll change. Eyebrow height, eyebrow taper. We have eye depth, which will kind of push the eyes in and out. Mouth depth, which will move the mouth, and the inner mouth. So then we get to emotions, which only work with the eye rig on. Pretty sure, or the face rig, I should say. Anger, it will add a little anger emoji, I think, or like thing. I think that's so cute. And blush, if you want your character blushing. And then if you click this, it will give you a bunch of other ones. These don't really change the eyes, but it does like add stuff. So dizzy, X's, happy, money, stars, and hearts. And then this is where it gets fun. Skins. Skin, you're going to go to the way right, and you're going to click the little folder, and it's going to open up Blender file view. Okay, we're going to use this skin, which is for something. So yeah, we're going to use this skin. So I can use the eye render, so I can kind of work with it a little bit, so it won't bug out. So I have my eyes still on my skin. I'm not going to get rid of them. I would recommend you get rid of them. I'm not going to this time. Materials in the style category, it's gonna hit eyes, and you can change the color to literally whatever you want. So in here you can also like toggle the pupils, toggle the sparkles, add more sparkles if you want or want not to. And yes, and then in here, see, you can change the eyelashes and the lipstick color and the cartoon mouth and the eye white color and the eyebrow color and all that stuff. Moving your mouth. Oh my god, that scared me. Oh my god, sorry, don't do that. Try to grab the mouthpiece. There we go. This is what's causing the problem, because it's a file. It's like a file. So move it down to like here, and that will fix the eye problem. So now you can see your eyes. If that's not fixing it, you can just grab the very outer corners and find the yellow and bring them completely forward. Oh, what the hell? So these are for the eyebrows. The eyebrows are up here. I'm so sorry you can't see them because of my like skin. I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to show them to you, but it's kind of the same thing as the eyes. Just kind of find them. I would personally do it even when the skin is off, like before you put the skin on. Grab them if your face is like weird and bring them down so they sit here on your eyebrow area. From here, there's not much more. I'm gonna add a couple other things, but yeah, so that's basically it. Just personally, you gotta really just go in and just mess with it and just finagle and finagle and finagle until you get what you want. If you have any questions, by the way, put them in the comments, or I guess if you're in Celestial Studios, you can just ask me personally. I also do render commissions. If you guys want renders, do hit me up with that. I also do build commissions. So yeah, go ahead, hit me up. I will do commissions. So yeah, ask questions in the comments. You guys have anything? If something's not working, I will try my best to troubleshoot you. But if I can, I'm so sorry. This next part, I'm going to talk about the asset library from Icecube. So how you're going to use said asset library, you're going to go up to the top of your Blender and go to the left, and you're going to kind of like go by this like little thing, and you're going to go a little above it, and your cursor is going to become like a point. You see, like, it's gonna become like, it's gonna look like that. And then you're gonna left click, and you're gonna, make sure like this, left click and drag down. And it's gonna do this. Don't freak out. Don't even have to be that big, really. I mean, unless you want it to be. Just know this will kind of get moved around. This won't get deleted. It will just get moved around. You can also do it this way, apparently, but I prefer to do it up and down. It makes life a lot easier, I feel like. To move it from left and right, just go, if you go to the top, it will go up and down. If you go to the right or left, it will go to left and right. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, just so I have a little other window. It's going to copy. See, this is still here. So from here, if you want to like bring it down more, you can. And this is still here. They're still here. They're not going to get deleted. Don't worry. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to the top one or bottom, whichever. Go back to the top left, and I'm going to click this little like cube tic-tac-toe thing with the circle. And I'm going to go over to the right, go to Asset Browser, and left click it. And open it up. So boom, here we go. There's also other stuff in here. There's brushes, and there's hair, and there's other stuff in here from just Blender itself. If you know how to use it and you have other stuff, it's probably going to be in here. So in here we have basically every single block in the entire game. Oh, I think I went too quick and it bugged out. Yeah, every single block and its typing in the entire game. You have tripwires, you have tinted glass, you have the structure block. Like, what? So much random stuff. You have spruce leaves in a dead form. You have all the snow layers. You have basically everything. All the warden blocks, resin brick slabs. I don't even know. I'm gonna grab the diamond armor set, but to do that, I'm gonna go back to the editor. I'm gonna make sure I can. I'm gonna drag this up so I can see the ground. I guess get out of pose mode, because if you're in pose mode, it's not gonna go. It hates pose mode, which is really funny. So instead, you're gonna go up back to where it says pose mode, and you're gonna go to object mode. This will not change. Don't worry. You're gonna go find whatever you wanted. Go back, grab it, for example, diamond armor, and we're gonna drag it, and you're gonna place it, and it's gonna render it. It might take a second, and boom, there it is. And then I'm gonna personally just do this, so it's still here, it's still up here in this very top, so I can bring it down whenever I want. But I'm just kind of gonna close it for right now for viewing purposes. So now the armor bit is here, beautiful, and you're able to grab it and move it around as you wish. You're able to put it on your character. This might be a little tricky. So yeah, and then like I said, never be in pose mode when working with the asset library. I can't even select it. It will not work. You just gotta use object mode to work with the asset library stuff. That does beg a question to me. If you do grab the entire armor piece, if your character is not centered like mine is right now, you cannot exactly pose it how you can like the character. You're gonna have to grab each individual piece and place it on your character and pose it. That is the only downside I think I have to see here. Yeah, because even with this thing selected, I can't even get into pose mode at all. So, and if I go into pose mode by selecting the character, I can't even click onto this. It will not let me. So that is something to keep in mind when working with the asset library, that you can't really, there's a little bit more limitations than there is with the actual rigging. Oops, I'm in post mode. See? Right there. So I'm personally going to delete this, and I'm going to go back into here. I'm going to grab an item. Something that, let's say, can be held by your hand. So let's grab an axolotl bucket, because those things are cute. With this, you can, like, tilt them up and down and turn them around and stuff, so you can, move it. And you can also, they do come a bit big. They are a bit overscaled, so you might want to like shrink it so it actually would fit your Minecraft character, because it's a bit big. Well, that's cute. Let she look at how happy she is with her little axolotl in a bucket. So yeah, there's that. So that, again, the bare basics of the Icecube rig. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this rig. We're going to go a bit into the lighting and camera modes now, since those can get a little bit confusing for some people. So I'm going to leave this just as it is. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm just going to, not going to render it out, but I'm just going to touch it as it is, or leave it as it is, my bad. So again, like I said, this is the camera. So I'm going to go to the right side of my Blender, and I'm going to go under the XYZ kind of cube thing, circle thing, and it's going to be the third button under the hand. It's going to be the camera, and you're going to click it. It's going to bring you into this. When you're here, you're going to want to go back to this big like UI that you open for your Icecube thing and go to item. Make sure it's selected on item so you can move your camera around, because when you're here, you can't exactly move your camera freely without kicking yourself out. You can move it like this, but it's a bit more hard to do that when you're not in it to see where you're moving your camera. So you want to make sure you are selected on the camera as well. So I personally just kind of highlight it until I see the orange, or you can just click it, and it will pop up. But I like to just select it, makes it a little bit easier on myself. So yeah, select it, make sure you're selected on it, and this is exact same as the models on here. This X, under rotation X, not location X, will move your camera up and down. Your Y will tilt your camera. I personally keep this on 0, but you don't have to. And then your Z is going to move your camera like this way, like you're kind of nodding, like shaking your head yes and no. And this, shaking your head no to shaking your head yes. So X rotation is yes, X or rotation Z is no. That's the best way I can put it. So I'm gonna just kind of spend some time here and mess with the camera setting. So again, I didn't do much with the rig, so there's really not much going on, which is fine. So to get this out of Blender and actually in the image, so this border is the image border, and this is what the image will look like. Well, kind of. This is what the image will be capturing, will be everything. So this part will be clipped, the top of her head, this arm, and all of this is not going to be in the photo. Just keep that in mind. From there, you're going to go up to the top of your Blender, go to the right, and find the render button. Left click it and hit render image, or you can also hit the F12 button on your keyboard. Click it and it's gonna render your image, and you're like, well, that looks horrible. There's no lighting, it's dark, there's something going on over here, which I'm not 100% sure what that is, to be honest with you. It looks bad. Completely understandable. We haven't messed with lighting yet, so we're going to exit out. It will be fine. And then we're gonna also get an X out of the camera, which is just done by re-clicking that same camera button. I'm gonna go make sure also for all of the camera stuff and the lighting stuff, make sure you're in object mode. Do not be in pose mode. I don't think it will work right. It will kind of bug out. So go to find the light source, which is this. If you do happen to delete your lighting button or your lighting cube light thing, you can go to add and hit light. I think it's point, so yeah, add light. This is pretty close to her face, as we can see. So if we put the light, I like putting the light at the very back of the camera, like on the point, the best you can. Kind of move your camera around, try to figure it out. I like also using this a lot, but roughly right there. If we go back, we hit render image. Takes a second. Whoa, that's bright. That's way too much. Because it's so close to her face, it's like looking into the sun. So to make sure it doesn't look like that, back it up a couple squares, bring it up a couple squares. Go back, render image. That looks a bit better. It definitely looks a little choppy. To be fair, this is not my best work. I'm just kind of messing around to show you guys. So yeah, it does look a little bit weird, but that's okay. To mess with this a bit more, if you really want to go more in depth, go to the right of your Blender, and go to the light bulb at the very bottom of this little UI right here, and you're gonna be able to change the power or the wattage of the light. So it's at 1,000, it starts off at 1,000. Let's say I change this to 200. If I go back and hit render image from not moving it, it's gonna be a lot darker because you've toned down the wattage of the light. I'm gonna do 800. That seems like an okay point. Let's look. This is also a very back and forth, re-render process. So make sure you have time. So that looks fine. It looks fine to me. So also here you're gonna see a bunch of other buttons. So there's point and there's sun, which is an extremely bright light. If you have sun on, it's kind of like you're looking at the sun. See, the sun is pointing this way, so this is like the sun. So it's very shining on that. I don't like using sun, it's very strong. I do like using spot sometimes when it's moved. So if you still in object mode, still on the move tool, you're gonna grab the little circle and you're just gonna move it to point at your character the best you can get it. Oh, don't do that. Yeah, try to make sure you're grabbing only the circle dot, and if you render, basically what it does is it just directs the light a bit more, and you have a bit more control of actually where the light is. Because with the point, it's just, oh, there's a point of light right here, and it's being dispersed. The spot is directing the light, kind of like a lampshade on top of a light. It's directing it down, or it's directing it out, or whatever. So that's fine. I sometimes will use this if I'm using specific stuff, not normally. This will also kind of center it, I'm pretty sure. So let's see, render. I changed the circle. Okay, that didn't. I think it's because of the wattage and how far the light is away. It's not really doing much, but you can kind of figure it out as you wish. So yeah, it usually starts off about there-ish. I'm gonna leave it at point for right now. And there's also area, which kind of does the same thing as point. It just kind of directs it very clearly. With this, if you see there's a color, so you can change the color of your light. Let's make it blue. And boom, now I'm blue. So this is very interesting if you want to, like, maybe if she's holding a book or something, or she's holding an item and you want that item to have a glow, you can put a light source under it and push the light source up to give it a specific glow color. If you want a character to have a specific color on their face to insinuate something, as maybe you want them to have red on their face to insinuate anger, or maybe you put blue on their face to insinuate a sad character or something along those lines. Or you can, or if you maybe are doing something underwater and the light just is not working right, boom, now you've got now she's blue. Maybe you're trying to make what's her name? The blueberry from Willy Wonka. I'm gonna leave it at white for right now. You can also change the darkness of the color in here as well with this slider right here. I'm gonna just make it white. White is in the center, or you could just, I think if you just zero it out, it should work. Okay, well, I'm gonna just personally leave it white and leave it the way it is right now because I think it looks fine. One more thing is that with the render, when you render it, it's a solid background over here. This is a solid gray slate, and as you can see, there's some gray behind some pixels and stuff. So if you brought this into a background remover, for example, it would probably get rid of some of these pixels because it's going to think it's a gray pixel and stuff because they're a bit finicky. So you're going to want to make sure this is a transparent background so you can import it to a different background so you don't have to worry about it. Or for example, like I use Canva for some of my thumbnails to put the background on it because it's a bit easier. Canva's background remover is a pro thing. If you don't have pro Canva, you can't do it. Or you want to use backgroundremover.com or whatever, it's a bit iffy still. So what I learned is if you go back to the right, go back to this little UI where your light stuff is, go to the top, go to the render. It looks like a little like photo camera. Go click on the render tool, find the film button, click it and hit transparent. And now when you go back to render and render image, clear background, or sorry, transparent background. So now this is transparent. You can tell just by the way the texture, that means transparent. And it will render out transparently and you will be able to input it to whatever you want. If you want to put a different background on it, if you want to just put it in a character sheet, if you're doing this with it, boom, it's done. So that is the end of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching if you've stuck around this long, my goodness. And that is how you use the Icecube Rig render maker with Blender 4.4. If you have any questions, do put them in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.